Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video we're discussing Gollitok, written by Andrew Najberg. It's a horror. It's very dystopian and sci-fi in nature, so I think the dystopian and sci-fi elements come through a bit more than the horror, or it's heavily influenced horror in those type of elements. So it's not creature horror, it's not slasher horror, it's not, blood and gore type horror. It's more sci-fi horror and dystopian horror. But anyway, this book is heavily influenced by the true Gollitok island, which is a barren and stark island that was used as a prison camp basically for about 40 years. So this setting is influenced by that. A lot of the story itself is influenced by that as well. It's full of adventure and daring. There's some great things going on in this story. Much of the island, that setting of the island, feels like a character in itself, and for me, that setting stands through the strongest in this whole story. Varka is leading an expedition to Gollitok, this barren and very desolate island. They're not sure really why they're going. They're being told there's a strange light witnessed on this island, and they're there to investigate the source of this strange light. But they're not really sure what they're being told is true, and have they been told the whole story? Is there more to this island that meets the eye, basically? What's hidden in this island? Also, they're being told there's pathogens in the very soil of this island. If they don't wear respirators when they explore different parts of the island, they could become sick and die. So on this island, there's a lot of fear, just amongst them, a lot of tension because of what they're being told, what they believe. Also in the group, it's a strange mix. Not a strange mix for a story like this. When we have horror kind of movies and stories with expeditions that have scientists and military personnel and other things in the mix. It happens in this book as well. And the characters themselves do feel a bit like their stereotypes. But we have military, we have Varka who's leading, who's more like a government official, we have scientists, historians, that sort of thing. And they don't always get on in this expedition. That adds a bit of tension, suspense into the story. That's okay, we need that in a group like this. But the island itself is the biggest character for me in this story. It is truly a character because the island, the atmosphere on the island, changes the way the people, the humans in this story, interact with each other and with the island itself. It changes their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, changes just the way they perceive certain things as well. So the island itself is a fantastic character in this book. But it's not long before Varka and his group find out they may not be alone on this island. There may be other humans on the island, or other things on the island, they're not really sure. Also they find out they're not the first group sent to this island to investigate. At least one other group has been sent before them, maybe more. So all that plays out in the story, adds intrigue and suspense. And this is where I'll leave the plot. I don't want to give anything else away because there's certain twists and turns and certain scenes in the story that you should read for yourself for the first time. But let's talk about the book in general. So first, the plot. For me, the plot plays out like a computer game. It seems to have these missions or these quests for the characters, and they play them out in the story. There's a purpose to them, they meet that purpose, then they return to base camp. It's very much like a computer game to me. And the main character, he seems to just develop in confidence and skills as the story progresses. Happens like that in a computer game as well. And this could be almost a game-lit horror. And game-lit is a subgenre of fiction where the protagonist or other characters, they develop in skills and things as the story progresses, and they achieve certain quests or do certain things to gain different skills and abilities. It felt like this in the story a little bit. The setting is amazing in this story. I was fully immersed in the dark and desolate setting in this island. Everything about this island is just dark, it's barren, it's dangerous. Even the weather. The weather's described so clearly in this book as well, and that description of the weather just adds so much realism into the story. The weather itself is so dangerous. I mean, the island itself is dangerous enough, but the weather itself just adds a whole other dimension to the danger. I like the description in this book so much. I was immersed fully in that setting. The characters in the story in general I couldn't really engage with, and I think part of that is because the setting, the island itself, just outshone everything else in the story. Every other character felt secondary to the island. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because the island is so strong. That feeling the island gives us is so strong in this book. But just the other characters, I couldn't engage with them that much because of the island itself. The characters themselves are okay. For this type of genre, they're fine. They are stereotypes in some respects, but they play their parts well, and they have certain things going on in the book that play out for them very clearly. They are consistent. So they're okay characters. I'm not saying they're bad characters. I'm just saying it was hard for me to engage with them. Varka, who's our protagonist in the story, he's the strongest human character in this book. The only thing about him is when he thinks back to his past. I found that a bit distracting. Just the way it happens in the story, it felt a bit jarring, didn't feel organic. And that segue into his thoughts just wasn't natural enough for me. But other than that, he's a good character. He's strong, he's consistent. I like the way his confidence and abilities progressed and got stronger as the book went on. I did enjoy that in the story. He's almost like a reluctant hero in the book as well, which makes him stand out even more. Because if he was like this full-blown action hero, it wouldn't have felt as natural in the story. So the fact of him being a reluctant hero plays out so well in this story. Vost is a military officer in the book. She is a stereotype character. You know, this strong military type that has orders that must be obeyed at all costs. You know, anybody gets in her way is an enemy, not a friend. So plays that part well in the story. Also, this character is used to add intrigue and suspense into the story. That's used very well in this book because she has her own mission, her own secret mission that nobody else knows about. And it seems like this mission had to be accomplished above everything else for her. That adds tension and suspense, a bit of danger as well, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if this character will be violent, because she can be, it seems, in this story. A very good character. I like the way that also in the story, she starts out being like a stereotype, and then she gets more human as the book progresses. Other elements add to her as the book goes on. I enjoyed that in this book. I want to mention the island as the character in this book, because the island is a character in its own right. The setting, its atmosphere, it forces changes on the other characters in the story, the human characters. So the island itself is very much its own character. I just love the setting so much. I love what the island brings to the story. If the author didn't describe the island so well, if that atmosphere wasn't there, if the tension and suspense and danger the island brought to the story wasn't there, this book would not work at all. So the island is a brilliant character in my view, the best character in this book. This is a good horror story. I'm still trying to reconcile the true purpose of the story. It seems like it could be many different things. Could be all the things I'm thinking of, or just one of them, I'm not sure. But this book is a very good story. It has some good characters. It has this great setting, which is amazing in my view. And the island just stands out so much in this story. It has danger, adventure, daring. It's got action. It's got tense moments. It has got horror moments as well, but the horror feels more sci-fi horror and dystopian horror than, you know, slasher or gory horror. So different types of horror in this story. If that interests you, I think check it out. It's interesting. I think this book will just engage you because of that whole island setting. I rate this book a 3 out of 5. It's a strong horror. The island is very engaging, but if its characters could engage me more into the story, I think I would enjoy this a little bit more. On my channel, I review many horrors. If you enjoy horror, check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to a video for another book I'm sure you'll enjoy.